and we can put me in the room. And oh, there I am. I'm over here, or am I over here? Anyway, we got this beautiful portrait of a beautiful woman, Stephanie Smith. She spent an hour with us already, and we're going to bring her back for a little while longer. And we're going to talk about some more stuff she does. And she's going to tell you all about it. And I'm going to bring her back in the room so she can start talking right now.
Hi.
There you are. Whoops. Is your mic on or off? Come on.
There we go.
There we go.
Yep.
I clicked it on and it didn't come on. And then when I clicked it again, it came on for half a second and went right back off. A little bit of delay. Again, that's why I like my show late, because of internet speed. Everybody's at home doing homework right now with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, did I show you my director, producer?
You did not.
This is Bones.
Oh, all right.
There is Bones. He's my producer director there.
All right.
Okay. What we were talking about before the show was you do card readings for people.
I do. Yep, I do oracle cards and tarot cards.
Okay. I'm assuming the best place to contact you would be your Facebook page, which is right down here.
Yes. My Facebook page is absolutely the easiest. You can message me on Messenger, and I usually set up like a Zoom meeting type of thing or a FaceTime, and that way I can do it with somebody. I have had ones where people just want me to record it and send it to them, if they don't have time to do a FaceTime type of thing. So I can do it that way as well. I only charge $21 for my readings, and, give you my full attention during that time. So usually go from anywhere to 30 minutes and up on each reading. So, yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure how the cards work. Have you got a sample of what cards you use?
I do, actually. Let me pull. I do have basic tarot cards, but I love my oracle cards because I can use them any way I want to. I don't have to worry about. There's so many rules and regulations kind of with tarot, where oracle cards, it's more based on your intuition and how you are feeling about what the card says. So like this card here, this is called Vintage Wisdom Oracle Cards. And this one says ancestors. So this basically says that you need a reminder that your ancestors are with you and that they are looking out for you. And you need to look for little messages that they usually send you, usually in the form of blackbirds, sometimes cardinals, butterflies, dragonflies, that sort of thing. Everybody has spirit guides, ancestors plus regular spirit guides, guardian angels. So, yeah. I think we may be frozen here a little bit. Are we still frozen? There we go.
There we go.
Yep.
I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe internet getting so slow. What were you saying before we had our blank spot there? Something about ancient wisdom?
So the oracle card that I had drawn was about your ancestors. And it's basically like a reminder that you have your ancestor guides that are there to guide you and give you kind of those little intuitive messages. Say you're driving down the road and you need to turn right, but something in your gut's telling you to go left. That's usually your ancestral guides telling you, hey, don't go down this way for whatever reason. So it's little inklings like that, little messages that they give you that you need to pay attention to, so that just that you have an understanding that they are with you and that they're helping to guide you at every step of the way.
Oh, okay. What are some of the others?
So that one was my Vintage Wisdom Oracle cards. I do have, this was actually my first deck, Ask Your Guides. And I got this deck because I was told that my spirit guides were a little ticked off at me because I wasn't listening to their messages. So I happened to go into a metaphysical shop, which I love shopping in metaphysical shops. I love crystals and things like that. And I found this deck, and I happened to look through it and got a quick message from one of my spirit guides, which was basically that I needed to, pay attention and get stuff done that I needed to get done. And as I walked outside from purchasing this deck, I found this little feather right on the step. And so I took this as a sign from spirit guides in particular saying, yes, you've done exactly what we needed you to do. And thank you for paying attention. So to this day, I keep this feather in the box with this deck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have tons of decks. If anybody watches the Supernatural show with, the Winchester brothers, I actually have a tarot deck that's Winchester brothers. So.
Okay.
Let's see. So
how do you choose? How do you choose which deck you use? Like, say you had somebody come forward, and they wanted a reading, and
Yep.
you agreed upon the price or whatever. How do you choose what deck you use for a certain person if you're on Zoom or whatever?
I usually just kind of feel out each deck that I have and let my own guides tell me which deck I will need for that day. I actually use a set of 8 different decks, and I pull from each pile of cards while I'm doing somebody's reading. So you're not just getting one particular deck, you're getting all 8 of them, 8 different types and styles of cards that I pull for people. Sometimes they're ancient wisdom, sometimes they're animal spirit guides. Let's see, what else do I have? I have angel cards, inner peace cards. I have self-care cards. So many people need to use the self-care cards because it's like you're not drinking enough water, or you're not taking time for yourself to do something that you want to do, things like that. So people seem to forget their own self-care, and so usually that's a big part of the messages that I have to give them.
Okay. Because I've had very few people read me with cards, and I know very, very little about them.
Okay.
So pardon my ill-informed questions. Because I'm kind of lost at intelligent questions to ask because I know nothing.
Yeah. No, the tarot cards are very in your face, and kind of like that person that's there to tell you this is how things are, and you don't like it, that's too bad. Whereas oracle cards are a little more sugar coated. But like I said, the oracle cards I can use my intuition and what they're trying to tell me, and I don't have to be so rough around the edges for people. So that's kind of not part of my personality. I like to give things kind of sweetly if I possibly can. Sometimes there are messages that just come through a little bit harshly, and I kind of can't help that, but I usually say it's not really a good reading until I make somebody cry. So when somebody cries.
Wow. Okay. Very interesting. The whole subject kind of fascinates me because I do more listening than talking because, like I said, I know nothing. What do you do? You just draw one card, or you draw several cards per person before you give them a reading, or?
I
Or
usually one card at a time, if I'm drawing from this Ask Your Guides deck, I'll go over exactly what this card means, put it down, and then I'll keep going with the other decks the same way. And what usually ends up happening is the other decks with whatever card I have pulled end up tying back into like this. It'll end up tying back into something like this, which always just honestly that part just kind of blows my mind how they work just so profoundly together, even though they're completely different decks.
that's interesting. You're
Mm-hmm.
basically using very, very different cards in very different decks, but kind of telling a story, and they're all kind of weaving together.
Yes, they do.
Wow,
Yeah. I did have a
that's
lady that
impressive.
I was at
Okay,
my other job doing card readings for people that would come into the museum that I work at. And I actually made two people cry unintentionally. But one lady, it was very strongly, each card that I pulled for her was saying the same thing, that, she needs to let go of the situation that's bringing her down, and she needs to start doing for her. So, I don't like to give details on personal things like that as far as my readings go
right.
with this situation was just not a good one that she's in, but they all tied in together saying the exact same thing to her. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let's not get any personal stories. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
none of anybody's business.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about this museum you're working at.
Okay.
What's the story there?
Well, it is in Pine Bush, New York. It is the Pine Bush UFO and Paranormal Museum. So we do have obviously a lot of UFOs and aliens, things like that. But we also have a Sasquatch exhibit. Plus, there is a whole paranormal room with a few haunted objects inside of it. We go over a few EVPs that people have sent us to be able to use, go over some of the stories. Same thing with the inside of the museum with the UFO stuff. It's primarily based on the Hudson Valley part of New York, different UFO stories. The Betty and Barney story from, I think that was in the 1950s. The couple driving down the road, loss of time, things that they were seeing. We've got a huge exhibit for that part as well. um Gosh, there's so many different UFO sightings. And for those that don't know, Pine Bush, New York is actually known as the UFO capital of the United States, which when I first found that out blew my mind, because it is like a small pin dot of a town, kind of, in the middle of nowhere a bit, and so for a small town like that to have so much paranormal and UFO activity just blows my mind. So it's pretty amazing the stuff that they have in there. Things about MUFON. There's USOs, which is the unidentified submersive objects. So things that are coming out of the water. That it's There's so much in there. It's amazing. So we do allow
Wow.
people to do self-guided tours, which is usually Wednesday and Thursday. um they're closed Monday and Tuesday, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we actually do guided tours. And so we take people through each different exhibit, which obviously it includes a little bit more than the self-guided tour does, but we explain everything that's in there, because there's all kinds of things in there. It's like it's jam packed full of information in there. So it's really neat. If anybody has the time, I usually recommend popping into the museum and seeing what they think about it.
Okay. Well, what's the address of this place so people can find you?
It's on Main Street of Pine Bush, New York. And once you start
Main
driving through
Street.
Pine,
Okay.
you see every place in that little town has UFOs and aliens in their windows. There's a little bar and restaurant next door with a little alien drink cocktail menu on the window as well. So they are known for UFOs.
Wow. How long would it take somebody to go through this museum? Would they need all
It's
day, or could they do it
no,
before lunch? Or
No, they can do, usually after lunch or whatever. If you're doing a self-guided tour, that's usually about an hour. If you do the fully, with a tour guide, then it can be an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay. And you say there's a tremendous amount of exhibits. Is it all one floor or is it multiple floors?
It's all one floor. The only part is for the paranormal section. That's actually out the back door. There's a little, like a little shed out there that we've got all the paranormal stuff kind of put into one, which is kind of nicer because then we don't have to worry about, the haunted objects floating around around the rest of the museum. I don't mean
Right.
like floating, but intermingling, I guess.
Right. So, somebody who can't walk stairs, they could still get around your museum just fine.
Yes, absolutely. Everything is, if somebody's like in a wheelchair, everything is accessible to them.
Oh, that's always good to know and good information and get out there.
Yes, there's a huge gift shop in there as well. So
And
if anybody website, they want some UFO or Sasquatch merchandise, they can always check all that out as well.
got to sell the merch.
Absolutely. Got to support the local businesses.
Once again, that's it. And you've got restaurants nearby.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody wanted to come in, then maybe go out and get a bite to eat, then come back, they could do that. What is the charge to go through your museum?
I just started there, so I know that the self-guided tour is under $20, and I think the guided tour is probably around 30 or 40.
Is that per person?
Yes, per person.
Okay.
Yeah. We are
All right.
having a soiree on October 7th that people can go and buy tickets for. I'm going to be what's called a lanterness, dressed up in Victorian gown, the whole 9 yards, talking about magic lanterns and how magic lanterns from the 1800s tie into like current paranormal investigation ways. And I don't know if are you familiar with the magic lantern and what they did back in those days?
Vaguely.
Okay, so
Could you
basically,
explain it? Can you explain it to people who don't?
yeah, so it's like a little contraption, a little box. Some of them are a little more rounded, and it has a light source inside of it. Now, when it was first invented, they usually used a candle. Of course, as technology advanced and they got the little light bulbs, they could actually put the little light bulbs in there. And it basically created a light to shine on the wall that originally was about this big. And it has little slides in it, and so little picture slides, so they would slide the pictures in there and you could watch the slides up on the wall. So originally, whenever it was done, it was actually only made to for smaller audiences, because the picture on the wall is very, very small itself, so they couldn't pack a lot of people in there to be able to see it. As technology grew and they started using other sources of light, the pictures grew bigger and they were able to make them move by using the different lenses that they put in there. So it looked like they were moving pictures kind of before actual movies. And so they were able to go to larger audiences, and they started making, Victorian toys that were little kerosene oil lamps on the inside so that children could actually use these things, something we probably would not do today. I can tell you right now, I would not give my 4-year-old a kerosene oil lamp to play with, but in those days, things were a lot different. So, uh, but they told little stories, with these little pictures. But I was reading actually today, originally, they were called the magic lantern because when they first started doing these things and having the little candlelight or the oil lamps inside, people were saying that they were seeing angels and demons playing on the wall, and they always said that it was just like magic, and so that's why they coined it the magic lantern. So there's like some old ones on eBay that you can still buy, for usually under a couple of $100. So So yes, we are going to be holding that event on October 7th at the UFO Museum. So I'm going to be starting off giving the presentation about the magic lantern, what it does, how it works, things like that. And then we have other paranormal investigators, Ron Iacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez, going to be there, and they are going to go over the seances and how it all ties in together. And he has some different devices that he uses and builds and things like that he's going to be using for an actual investigation. So it's going to be a really neat night. So most of us are going to be in Victorian garb. Everybody else can come in their regular clothes because I don't think they want to be in giant hoop skirts and all that stuff during the night like I'm going to be.
And what did you say the gentleman's name was again with the equipment?
Ron Iacovetti.
Ron Iacovetti. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So that is October 7th. Starting what time?
7 p.m.
Through whenever?
I think it's supposed to go until about 10, but you know, we don't force you to stay if we're not having a good time, obviously. And if things usually go over, which sometimes they do in this field, especially, you know, we're not going to stress about it too much. So.
Okay. And you're going to be in a big old hoop skirt.
I'm going to be in a huge Victorian gown, and yes, there are hoops underneath it. So just clear the aisle as I come through so I can fit through it.
Those things were custom made to knock stuff over with.
Yes, exactly. Hopefully I don't knock too many things over that night.
I don't know how you, yeah. Because I don't know how you'd walk through a normal house in today's world wearing one of those.
When I've worn that dress I have the dress. I've worn it for Halloween a few times. And anytime I do, I get frustrated because it's hard to like get in and out of the car. I'm usually sitting in the back seat of the car with this thing because I can't drive because the hoop is, you know, huge and round and stable. So I have no room to like actually like, you know, look around to the driver's side. So somebody has to drive for me.
Did you see the original Wonder Woman? Gal Gadot?
Yeah, I don't think I actually watched that.
She was supposed to be coming out in World War One. So we're talking about 1917, 1918.
Yeah.
And they're trying to dress her in British clothes, what the British were wearing at the time.
Oh, no.
And she just looked at the woman and said, "How do you fight in this?" You know, because she was being an Amazon warrior. We figured you're going to be in a sword fight, at least sometime during the day. And how do you fight this thing?
You can't.
You can't.
No. Here,
I've often looked at him and said, "How?"
This person's butt. That's how that's going to work.
Yeah. I've often wondered, the heck with fighting, how do you walk in the thing?
Slowly.
It's slowly.
Although it has
Okay.
really good, you know, areas to hide certain weapons and things like that. So it comes with its bonus.
Yeah, you can just about hide a cannon under the thing.
I know.
At least a mortar. You know what a mortar is? You know, it's about
Yeah.
that long. I could put myself back in here. So if I'm gonna use hands, I better put myself back. You know, the mortar's about this long.
Yeah.
But okay, we've covered your cards. We have covered the Shanley Hotel.
Yeah.
And we have covered your event on October 7th.
Yeah.
We covered the UFO Museum.
Uh-huh.
Is there anything else you would like to cover tonight?
I was thinking about talking a bit about some of our little haunted objects we have at the hotel, and I collect haunted objects myself, so they're always at the forefront of my mind. So if anybody ever has any haunted objects that they really don't want, please let me know. I'm happy to take them. I actually, your little helper there. These are some of mine.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. So
that's quite the collection.
Yeah. And there's one that I just picked up actually at an antique store about 5 days ago. And I swear I don't like him, but I was more compelled to take
You don't
him. And
like him?
I don't like him, but it's like I was kind of forced to take him. So I bought him, and just I don't like his attitude, and I took him to the hotel, and I've left him there. So he is he is sitting at the hotel right now, mingling with the Shanley spirits, hopefully behaving. I don't know if he is or not. We shall see when I get there on Saturday. But yeah,
But
I picked him up. He was in the
if
back
any
area of this
if
antique
anybody's
shop.
investing,
Yeah, he was in the back area of this antique shop that
wow.
I went to, and it was such a strong pull, and I was like, I really don't like you. It just, oh, I can't even tell you how much I really dislike this thing. And immediately he was giving me like aggressive, feelings and things like that. And I'm like, you're really not cool. So I got him into work at the hotel. And later on that night, Ron Yacovetti was actually at the hotel that night, and so we were running some of his devices, and immediately this spirit was coming through. It's a male spirit. He was showing me a sheep farm, and I can't even tell you the era he was in, but a sheep farm with these sheep that he seemed very frustrated with because they needed to be sheared so badly. They were so fluffy, and he wasn't getting it done. And then he was showing me that there was a fire, like my eyeballs felt on fire, and then the rest of my body just felt so heated. And I had the owner, Kelly, I said, can you like check my neck or anything for scratches? Because I thought that's what I was feeling. And she goes, no, but you are like red hot. So I was like, okay, so this guy probably burned in a fire of some sort. And I stuck him on the couch, and I'm like, I'm not even going to touch you because I don't like how you make me feel. So I've left him there. I don't want to leave him there forever. I don't want him to become a Shanley spirit. So if I can find somebody that is okay with having negative spirits or that wants to work with him more, I'll just give him to somebody, but I won't bring him home. So I was like, I don't want the negativity in my own house. So that's why I left him at the hotel. But we do have a few haunted items there. Obviously, I
Okay.
collect haunted items, so I have several different things in my house. But yeah, so amongst other things, I'm a haunted collector as well.
What kind of objects do you have there?
At my house or the hotel?
Okay. Pardon me?
At my house or at the hotel?
At the hotel.
We do have a handful of dolls that are haunted. I don't want to spoil this, but I'm going to anyway. So one of our first room that we always take our guests into is what's called our seance room, and we keep this haunted item in a suitcase. And it used to be like it was blessed, holy water, saged, that sort of thing, to keep it locked in this box, basically. And of course, it comes to the Shanley Hotel, and we're like, well, let's play with it and see what it does. So leave it to us to break the whole seal on this locked box. It's kind of like opening up a Dybbuk box. You're not supposed to do it, but you do it anyway, right? So I wasn't working the night that Kelly, the owner, actually got his name, and I'll tell you what it is. It's a huge ceramic clown mask. It's just the face. It's a clown. It's a creepy clown, honestly. And the other worker, Tracy, that night said, we don't want to just call you clown. What do you want to be called? And he says, Morty. So Kelly, the owner, messages me so excited, oh, he gave us his name. It's Mort or Morty, and I was like, well, you do realize Mort in Latin means death, right? And I swear you could feel the energy go way up here to way down here once she realized what I said. And she's like, oh, great. So he basically named himself Death. So we start our thing now with our
Yes.
guests.
It's
We
where
don't tell them
mortuary and mortician came from.
exactly. Yes, and this is what he named himself. So we usually start out our investigation in that room. We always say we're not going to tell you what's in the box. He has to come out and say his name or what he is, or say something like "Let me out." So we do that now. If he does one of those things, then we will actually open the box. I will not touch him. I touched him one time and one time only, and that was enough. He gave me a migraine for 3 straight days, and I was like, nope, not having anything.
Whoa.
And
Nope.
so I won't touch him. He's not human. I can't figure out if he's just some sort of a trickster or something else. He says some pretty awful things to us usually. Like he cusses us out and calls us names and things. And yeah, he has a very colorful vocabulary, which makes it entertaining. But at the same time, it still makes me a little wary of him, because I don't like his energy in general. But entertainment purposes, he is good for a few laughs whenever he comes up with some really good zingers. But if anybody's
Okay.
afraid of clowns, it's
He
usually
could have,
recommended at them.
but we know where Zach Bagans is not going.
Yeah, he can't have our haunted objects.
Yeah, but he hates clowns.
Oh, does he really?
Yes,
That's
he spent the night in the clown museum,
yeah,
and he was just on pins and needles. He has one of those phobias, like a lot of people do
yeah.
with clowns.
I actually had
So
we
he
had
would be
a
terrorized. He pull that out.
yeah, we had a psychic medium, pretty well known one, staying at the hotel one night, and we were in the seance room, and he's this big, tall, tough guy. And as soon as that box was open and he saw what it was, I kid you not, he screamed more so like a girl and ran, not walked, but he ran out of that room. I was laughing so hard I couldn't help myself because here's this big, tough, strong man, running from this mask, and it just cracked me up. But I also found out he's not really much of a fan
It,
of dolls either, so it's kind of, not a good night for him.
okay, no, it's kind of amusing when you get a runner.
Yes,
It's always funny.
it is.
Uh, have you, have you ever heard of the Allen House?
No, I haven't heard of that one.
Okay. Look it up on the internet sometime. It's one of
Okay.
the most haunted private residences in America.
Oh, wow.
If you watch the show The Ghost Brothers,
Yeah.
their first episode was the Allen House.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the Ghost Hunters, original Ghost Hunters, and Ghost
Yep.
Adventures has also been there.
Okay.
Most of the shows have gone to the Allen House. And it's only 30 miles from where I'm sitting.
Okay. So have you been there
Star
yet?
City, if you look on a map, on 2 Halloweens, my first 2 Halloweens in Arkansas.
Okay.
I was sitting in one of their, I think, the dining room,
Mm-hmm.
and I had an Echo Box. Basically, it's a ghost box on the phone.
Yeah.
It uses partial. The noise it produces is partial syllables, partial words,
Yes.
and the spirits can use that to speak.
Yep.
And I was talking to Alan, which is the secondary ghost there. The primary ghost there is his mother, Liddell
Okay.
Allen, who committed suicide in the house.
Uh,
Alan, he died in New York. He went to New York City and got a job in I believe the newspaper business, and very shortly thereafter just died mysterious circumstances. You're talking about 100 years ago. People died mysteriously a lot.
yeah. Yeah.
And he's a little bit of an entertainer. Liddell is a little bit shy, and she gets tired, especially on Halloween when they have a lot of tours.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times it's Alan kidding around with people. And I was just talking with him. You're talking to a ghost. That's what you live for when you're a ghost hunter. If you can get
Yeah.
a ghost interactive talking to you, just like we're talking here.
Yep.
And a tour walkthrough, several adults, and had this one guy, typical Southerner from here in Arkansas. It looked like close to 30ish, maybe mid 20s, early 30s, kind of hard
Mm-hmm.
to tell. But he was also the only person wearing a baseball cap. So I said, Alan, can you give me the name of the gentleman who just walked into this room wearing the baseball cap. And the guy knew he was the only one wearing the baseball cap on that tour, froze, just turned around and looked at me and froze. And within a couple of seconds of me telling Alan, can you give me the name of this gentleman? Alan, a name comes over my speaker. That was his name, apparently.
Oh, that's
From his
awesome.
reaction, because he ran out of the room, out of the house. He was done.
Oh boy. He said, nope, not today.
It, uh, he was just gone. And of course, I'm sitting there, I'm laughing with myself, and Alan was actually laughing over my speaker.
I love it.
So I actually developed just a couple visits up there on Halloween. I developed a little bit of rapport with the two spirits that are there.
Yeah.
And occasionally they will come down here. They know where I live, and not last Halloween, Halloween before. They actually came down here and knocked at my back door.
Yeah. Yeah. When you establish a rapport with them,
So we're gonna see.
They do that. They absolutely will follow you and come check up on you and things
Yes.
like that. They're like, hey, here for a visit.
Mm-hmm. And on Halloween this year, I'm not going to the Allen House again, although I could, since they're opening back up this year from after 2 years of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to probably do a live broadcast. If you wanted to, I don't know what you're doing Halloween. If you want to come back in for 10 minutes, if y'all got some kind of event going on,
yeah,
you can just throw your camera out on the live event, and I'll throw it up live on the show, because I've got permission from my network to come on early that Halloween night, probably just after dark, maybe about 8 o'clock our time, 9 o'clock your time.
Yeah.
And start broadcasting. And anybody who wants to appear is just going to give me a message. Hey, can I be on your show for 10 minutes? I'll throw them a link like I did to you earlier to record this show. And, there they are. And if all they're doing is showing, something going on, I'll hopefully will be able to do it outside. If it's not raining, I'll be doing it outside.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that'd be pretty neat. Definitely.
So it should be fun. So just come on and let me know what, I've got 15 minutes or 20 minutes, or maybe, you got an hour, whatever you got.
Yeah.
That you can come in and talk about something going on. Be glad to bring it out.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. I don't know what our plans are just yet,
So
but we'll get figured.
That's me on Halloween.
Yeah. 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 Ours, like I said, it's
what was that again?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what we are doing on Halloween itself, but when it gets a little closer, we'll figure it out.
Okay. Well, I think we've covered the card reading. We covered the hotel. Let's give the address to the hotel again. The contact is down here, the website for the hotel, and your Facebook page. It's right down here at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
They can contact you for more information, or they can go to the ShanleyHotel.com for more information on the hotel.
Yep, absolutely.
Your event at the museum is October 7th.
Yes.
I'm assuming the museum's got a website. I don't have it running. What is it? What do you call it?
Yeah, it's the Pine Bush UFO and Paranormal Museum. So if you Google that, it should take you right to the site. As long as you put Pine Bush in there.
Got to put Pine Bush. Okay.
Yep, absolutely. And if you want to buy tickets to the soiree on the 7th, you'll be able to buy them there as well.
How much would those tickets be?
That I actually do not have a price on. I was not given that information and have not gone to the website to look yet. It shouldn't be too much though. So And I guess we're having snacks and things like that too. So it'll
Oh,
definitely
and
be well
Paranormal
worth it.
Museum.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, it sounds like a good time to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, if you wanted to sit there and make a 30-second video sometime between now and then and
Mm-hmm.
send it to me via Messenger,
Okay.
I'll download it and I'll advertise it for you.
Okay. We can do that too. Yep. I'll have to write that down so I don't forget it.
Yeah, because we don't have a whole lot of time till October 7th. Halloween's one thing. We basically got the better part of 2 months for Halloween.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
October 7th is going to be on us before we know it.
Exactly. Yep. And we've already been working on
So
everything trying to get done for it. So it's a pretty huge thing, looks like.
it sounds like a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the people, the guest speakers that are going to be there,
All right.
Ron and a few others, they're great to work with and to listen to. And like I said, the devices that they bring are just incredible. So anybody that comes is going to definitely have a good time with them and get to see some new things and hear some voices come through their devices. So definitely going to be fun.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess if that's all you wanted to cover tonight, I guess we're about done. We did a
Yeah.
lot more than we were talking about. We were talking
Yeah.
about the second part only being 15, 20 minutes, and we've
Yeah.
gone over 40 minutes now.
Yeah. That's how it happens.
So it's getting late for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Almost
So
11.
yeah, you've got a kid to go take care of.
Yeah.
Tell your hubby happy birthday for me.
I will do that. Thank you very much.
Of course, technically he's only got about 20 minutes left in said birthday.
Yeah. About a half an hour and it's not his birthday anymore.
That's it. That's it.
Yep.
All right. Well, we'll bid you goodbye. I've had a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, me
I,
too. Thank you very much for having me
I
on.
think
I appreciate
I think we put out a lot of information for
it. Hmm.
giving a lot of people something to think about.
Yeah.
And uh, I thank you, and I'm sure some other people watching this will thank you for the information as well.
Yeah, good. Anybody that wants to come to the Shanley, find us online and book a hotel room. If you want me to be your guide, you can always request me as well. So just, shoot me a message and say, "Hey, I booked it for this night," and I'll make sure I'm there.
All right. You can't ask for anything better than that.
There you go.
I think we'll just go ahead and end it right there.
Okay.
Stephanie, it's been a hoot. It's been a hoot. Thank you very much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And you have a great night.
You as well.
Gonna try. All right, that's all for our guest tonight, and we're going to call it quits on the second half of this two-part show. We want to thank you everybody for watching our show, whether you've watched it on YouTube, Facebook, or you've watched it on any of the podcast networks that WLFE DB throws it to. You can always watch the show as recorded at WLFEDB.com. You can also watch on all the podcast networks because it is streamed to them. And you can watch it several different times or just catch it on demand from them. You can catch it audio on speaker, iHeartRadio, again, just the audio, or you can catch the full video on some of the podcast networks. All right, we're going to call it quits for tonight. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody watching the show tonight. I appreciate Stephanie Smith for talking with us for a lot longer than we planned. But when you're having a good time, you don't want the good times to stop. All right. Good night, everybody. And let me just go ahead and Bones, get us out of here.
Thanks for watching our show. Be sure to tune in to next week as once again we journey way down south into Bayou Country for another heaping portion of Southern Fried Paranormal with Len Dorman and Bones. Make sure to like, share, and follow. Y'all come back now. You hear?
Hi everyone, I'm Dale Kasmerick from the Ghost Research Society. Just talking very quickly about our upcoming convention called the Midwest Spirit Fest on October 16th, 2022 at the Thornton Distillery in Thornton, Illinois. Hi everyone, I'm Dale Kasmerick from the Ghost Research Society. Just talking very quickly about our upcoming convention called the Midwest Spirit Fest on October 16th, 2022 at the Thornton Distillery in Thornton, Illinois from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. People are interested in getting tickets, they go to my website at ghostresearch.org or also find it on Eventbrite or Facebook page. I hope to see all of you there.